Hi guys, today I'll be reviewing the Kessil A150 light. Before we get to the light itself, this is what the box looks like. And what is unique about this light is the LED. It's one chip that houses all the LED chips. It's a pretty cool design, but basically there's many different lights, and you can see them here. There's the on this camera you can't. There's a hard time seeing them, but there's the light spectrum where the light hasn't blended in on the sides, and so it houses all the different colors. But when it hits the aquarium, you don't see any of them because they're coming out of a single point. And some things that I really like about the light is that it's extremely strong. And so I'm able to grow like this blue stag SBS and the purple bird's nest, and along with some less demanding corals. And this is a 16 gallon, by the way, and I would recommend this light for a maximum of 30 gallons, assuming that you're going to put SBS. Anything after that, you either need to buy more of them or buy a different light. Because it's a single focal light, meaning that the light source is coming from one point, there are some specific traits that occur. First of all, you get a really nice shimmer, and that's something that's really appealing to me. Second of all, you get really good depth perception, and what I mean by that is because it's coming out of a single point, there's shadows. It's not all two-dimensional looking, and especially with a not so deep tank, I think this is really beneficial. Underneath coral there's shadows, and there's even shadows of the fish, and that's something I really like because it looks much more natural than just a washed out looking aquarium with no shadows. Now with the shadows there are some disadvantages too. If you have coral up top, it's going to be really hard to put coral right underneath them because there's no light coming to them. And that's not so much a problem in my tank because of how I have things laid out, meaning that I don't have anything here that requires a lot of light. I only have these mushrooms. So it's fine with my aquarium, but I can see this as a problem for some who want that aquarium look that just you can't even see rock. You can just see there's only coral because of all the coral that's they have in their system, and that's probably not going to be the case with a single point light like the Kessil. Another thing to point out is that the A150W is it's not adjustable. You turn it on and you turn it off, and that's not so much a problem with me because I don't really care. I feel like if I had a feature where I can dim it or change the light, I would probably just set it to some like what it is right now and not mess with it, or maybe just show my friends that it can change lights. But it's not. I don't see it as something that's needed, so I don't really see that as a problem. There's also a fan sound that's coming out of it, and it's a very here. I'll give you a second to listen to it. Standing and looking at the tank, it's a very soft white noise that's coming from it, but it's definitely audible, and that's not something that bothers me because I actually like a little bit of white noise, but it's just the fan running in the light. Now all the things that can be seen as a con aren't so much a con for me because they're not a big deal. I don't care about changing light colors. The white noise doesn't bother me, and I think the shadows are really cool in the rock structure because it gives you a good depth perception, and that's something that I really like about. Especially with such a such a thin aquarium. It's not wide, but as you can see, it gives you really. I mean, coral growth and coloration has many different factors. But I can definitely say that My corals are really nice colors. They color up really nicely, and I'm sure that that has to do with the Kessels. See, they're really bright coloration. Nothing's dull. Even the brown looks good on the polyps. And yeah, everything's just popping. So as far as coral growth, I believe that it does a great job, but I don't have much experience with lights as far as for reefs. I'm still somewhat new, and this is my first. This is my second light, my first legitimate SPS high quality light, and I definitely would suggest it for people who have nano tanks, and especially cube tanks, because I feel like the light spread would work really well on this. But if you're not someone who really cares about the shadows, and the price tag is out of your range, which is I paid about 150, 160 for the light, which is a lot. But because it's an LED, it's gonna last you for like a decade. So it's a one-time buy, but it's definitely expensive. But really, when you get into these higher quality lights that can grow SPS, you're gonna be spending around that much anyways. So as far as the Kessil go, I give it a thumbs up. I don't know how it compares with its competitors because I haven't owned them, but I can say that I'm very pleased with the Kessil.